Dangerous forever chemicals contaminate U.S. tap water in a report. And so this was not long ago, this is recent. So, water consumed by millions contains chemicals linked to cancer, brain damage, and more, according to a new report. So, do not drink until further notice. You see this sign right here. So, this came out the 3rd of November this year. So, a sign is posted on a water dispenser, and this is in the Northwestern High School of Flint, Michigan. And so some of us know the story about Flint, Michigan, how they had this water crisis. Well, it's not just relegated just Flint, Michigan, a city which has struggled with the effects of poisonous drinking water. However, it moves even to an even bigger situation of toxic chemical contamination that is a serious problem in the U.S. water systems, according to a new analysis of data from nearly 50,000 water utilities. And so, decaying infrastructure, the pollution from toxic forever chemicals is what it's called, are causing tens of millions of United States residents to drink contaminated water, increasing the risk of cancer and other ailments, according to a new report. So, 56 new contaminants, including pesticides, radioactive material, have been discovered in the U.S. tap water over the past 2 years. So the EWG, which is the Environmental Working Group, reported on Wednesday. So researchers from the Washington, D.C. based nonprofit analyzed the data from nearly 50,000 water systems across the U.S. to draw their conclusion. So it's striking and frustrating how little is being done to improve water quality across the country. And so David Andrews, a senior scientist with the EWG, told Al Jazeera, our scientific understanding of health has progressed, but our drinking water standards are not being updated with the most modern science. So national U.S. regulations for water, for example, do not include standards for a newer class of chemicals known as the PFAS, so which are used in manufacturing this non-stick coating, Teflon, firefighting film, and other products. This is Andrew saying this. So it's dubbed forever chemicals because they build up in the bodies and don't break down in the environment. So small doses of PFAS have been linked to kidney, liver, and pancreatic cancer, weaker immune systems responses, and other serious health problems. So this is the EWG that has reported this. So this is no federal drinking water standard to test for the PFAS chemicals, Andrew said. So the administration of the U.S. President Joe Biden announced a strategy to regulate PFAS chemicals earlier this month, but it has yet to be implemented. And so this is pretty serious. So we all thought that Flint, Michigan had their own little crisis going on just there, but it's actually a lot bigger than just in one area, in one city or state. It's pretty much everywhere, um, where people have to be now questioning what is in the tap water. So the Environmental Protection Agency, which is the EPA, the U.S. government's body responsible for creating and enforcing standards for chemical exposure, did not immediately respond for a phone call or email from Al Jazeera requesting a comment. So contaminated water in the U.S. made headlines in recent years following revelations that more than 25,000 people in Flint, Michigan were harmed through exposure of lead and other toxins in their drinking water. So we heard that story, but we thought it was just there. Last year, the state agreed to pay about $600 million in compensation to residents, so including more than 5,000 children who were harmed by the pollutant water. or the polluted water in the working class city just north of Detroit. So the problems outlined in the latest EWG report are slightly different to what happened in Flint. Andrews said contamination in the city was linked to the lead pipes through which water traveled and after it had passed through the treatment plant. And so the EWG, in contrast, analyzed data from the water treatment plants to search for traces of different chemicals. So the report includes a search function where the U.S. residents can enter the postal code to see the raw data on chemical exposure from where their local water treatment plant is. So Andrew Drew believes that official regulators like the EPA should be collecting and tracking, publishing the data rather than his group, the individual water utilities. And so across the U.S., there's a significant variation in water quality levels as well by municipalities. So Andrew said, so unsurprisingly, municipalities with the highest contamination levels are often located near chemical and manufacturing facilities or farms where pesticides are used in high quantity. He added, so despite better scientific data linking chemicals like PFAS to cancer and immune system problems, regulations have not kept the pace. So the EWG said, so Water Quality Association, which is WQA, the US-based association representing the water treatment industry, did not immediately respond to phone calls and emails requesting for comment as well. So the source is Al Jazeera, and it was the 3rd of November, so this is very recent. And so there's a video attached to it, but I'm not playing it. But now, already some people really weren't drinking tap water, but now you have even more reason to believe that, wow, what is in the tap water that's coming in your house, where you live? And now it makes you want to investigate your area and what is coming through those systems and the filtration systems where you live. And so we have all these issues with climate change and all these issues that are being looked at. We got to wonder, with all the pollution in the water and the things that have been happening recently that are, I feel like it's another situation that's tied to the climate issues, because you've had a lot of oil spills, you've had a lot of pollutants that have been put in the water, a lot of plastics, and the fish and the sea life, they have swallowed some of those things. And then there's even sea life that has certain drugs that when they look at the dead sea life, they see the remnants of like maybe unused prescription drugs, maybe drugs that somebody might have thrown in, flushed them down, or different, all kinds of bacteria, and all that goes into the ocean. And so you wonder just how safe is the water. And so some of the cancers that they were naming out, it makes you wonder about, what I've noticed is it seems like there are younger people that are more and more, it seems like recently we've been hearing a lot about cancer, colon cancer, pancreatic cancer. And so this all makes sense. And so just think, maybe people were, using the tap water, they were drinking it, or they were, drinking it thinking that it was safe, and you really don't know just how safe it is. You have to wonder, should you boil the water? Will that make it any safe? Or should you just not drink it at all? And so this is really scary. So I know when they talked about the Flint, Michigan situation, you could see the people where their skin looked like it had sores on it. Their hair was falling out. You could hear the woman, well, there was a woman on an interview, she had her hair look like it was in bald patches. And this was all from the drinking water there in Flint, Michigan. So just think years and years of drinking water that could possibly have these chemicals in it and what it could do to your body. And so just food for thought, but it makes you wonder. It makes you wonder, should you demand them to explain what is in this water that we've been drinking all these years? Water consumed by millions contains chemicals linked to cancer, brain damage, and more, according to the news report.